Here we are. Hey,
Yeah.
Tony, you did make it.
I did, yes.
Hi, good to see
Hello.
you. I was having
Hey, Holly.
Shaughnessy's.
Hey.
Hey, good to see you all. I think Elizabeth will be joining us too. So a couple of things. Kathy, I know the scoliosis, osteoporosis. Anything else kind of been bugging you lately?
No, the same old stuff.
Okay. Tony, anything from yesterday you want me to know?
Just I was feeling it, but
Okay.
I'm moving.
Are you having trouble with chest tightness, shoulder opening? What you
Shoulder, a lot of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So when you go up like this, is that hurting a little
No.
bit? Okay.
No, that's okay. It's the rotation.
Gotcha. Okay. Jim and
Yeah.
Karen.
Well, Jim
No,
won't
I'm
be
good.
doing anything. He's recovering.
I'm recovering from surgery, but Karen is participating.
Okay, so Jim,
Oh, okay.
just keeping up with you because I didn't know what you have there. Shoulder surgery or something?
Oh, no, I had double hernia surgery.
Oh,
Old man disease.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, you're not an old man. You've been doing mat work. You can't be an old man doing mat work. Just saying.
Hey, I'm leaving.
Okay.
And the only issue I have is right hip.
And tell me about that.
Some osteoarthritis,
Okay.
probably looking at a hip replacement down the road here.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to give modifications for everything. And I'm also going to be working on, since I teach a lot of work on shoulder and hip mechanics, since I have an opportunity to work with you all on that, I might do that a little bit as well.
Right.
Okay, because I think, I've been doing a deep dive on this kind of stuff for the last couple of years. First of all, because I'm tight, who isn't, right? But also I think the pandemic just messed us up in profound ways. So just think it's not you. It's mostly that we don't know a lot of times how to move properly. So since we're going to be doing a lot with some of the sculpting series from the mat work, which is really good for osteoporosis and is part of mat work, I'm going to talk about, let's start out standing, okay? You could absolutely do this lying down, and I often do teach this to people there, but we'll do this as a way to kind of just reinforce good postural awareness. So start with your Pilates first position, heels together, toes apart. Now, why do we do that? Well, first of all, because it's really hard to stand badly when you're in this position, right? Let's check it out. You take your feet a little wide. You may, after a little bit of time, start to sag into one hip. Don't you do that sometimes? Right, and what happens with that is it means that that hip muscle, the main hip muscle over here, your glute medius, gets super weak. So then you start to cross your leg or something, and all of a sudden you've got some hip pain, Karen, right? Possibly what could be going on with you. When you bring your heels together right away, and I'm going to show you, my natural position is lordotic. I tend to have a tilted pelvis forward, which means that I've got really loose hamstrings and really loose abs. So every time I know that about myself, and everybody should know what his or her things are. Okay, I'm going to tilt. So untilt, right? And I don't do that by pushing that back. I do that in a subtle way of kind of lengthening. Take one hand to the small of your back, one hand to your belly. And I'll turn to the side and just show you what that looks like. So I'm going to lengthen my glutes, pull my abdominals up, and now I have neutral spine. Now we do that on the mat a lot, of course, and that makes sense to us, right? Because you can feel your hip bones pressing into the floor. But in this position, it doesn't always occur to us to do that. So you never want to feel compression, especially for Kathy. But we want to think of this idea of not moving the pelvis, but engaging the abdominal muscles on the front and the glutes on the back so that that pelvis resets. Does that make sense? Okay, and then when you bring your heels together, you're activating your glutes in a way that really reinforces that. You could stand at a cocktail party and you could be doing this. As you press down in through the heels, we're driving the force of the femur bone up into the hip capsule. So this exercise alone can be so good for osteoporosis, Kathy. All right, now shoulder mechanics. Our arms should be functioning in relation to our shoulder blades. Most women, some men, don't know how to approximate that because we live in our upper trapezius muscles, right? And they are part of opening your arms, but they should be the last part. So let's take your hands into the center and imagine that you have a sticky taffy piece. So Tony, right there, can you drop down a little bit and relax that? Yes, good. So even there, your impulse was to tense. Instead, I know, I get it, totally, no judgment, right? Instead, right, take your hands right in front of that bust line and imagine that you have your Superwoman shirt under this outside shirt and you're gonna pull those pecs apart. Now go all the way out, Tony. Let those elbows, yes. Now draw your shoulder, your arm bones into the shoulder blades. Kathy, you did that beautifully, right? It's almost as if you're trying to create a coat hanger on the back of your body, right? Let's feel that softening, then the stretch. The pec tightness here and here is a lot of what's causing us to tense into the upper body. All right, let's try that one more time and then we'll build on it. So we're going to stretch the pecs and then we're going to release the arm bones to the shoulder blades. Now, working only from those shoulder blades, see if you can slowly bring this up. And the minute those neck muscles start to fire, we stop because that's the only range we've got right now. I want you to literally feel like you're thawing icebergs out on your back body because that's what shoulder blades can be like sometimes. And right here, it's not even any weights, it's nothing. I can start to feel, wow, I probably tightened that a lot when I was sleeping last night, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so normally when we start to bring ourselves, now think of this as a process. So I'm Catholic or was, you know, so I think of kind of this priest on the altar as you bring the vestments out here. That's what should be happening as we bring the arms out. Instead, we immediately go here. And I'll just pause here. Men, Jim, you probably hear this in the end, when they push a suitcase into the overhead bin, they use their chest muscles because they don't have bust lines pulling them forward and that are kind of flabby in here. So when we try to push something forward, it should be from the serratus anterior, which is a strong group of muscles here. So try that now and put that shoulder mechanics to work. As you press your hands up, can you feel your chest muscles doing that work? Right, and then draw back and feel like your shoulder blades draw back. Does that make sense? That's your lower trapezius retreating it. So you push, or imagine you're putting a box up into your closet, and then you pull that box back down. That feels so much healthier. I don't feel any stress. I hope you feel that difference, right?
Yeah.
But it takes practice. I've been working for several years to try to reinforce this different postural work, and I think it's helping. Okay.
Well, you have to consciously think about it.
That you do, because in our work in Pilates or anything else, you go from stages of unconscious incompetence all the way up to unconscious competence, where you're not having to think about the best way to be. All right. Now, do you have 2-pound weights, my friends?
Yes.
Okay, let's grab those next. Okay. And let's use those 2-pound weights for part of the sculpting series, which is just some nice standing weight work that Joe Pilates created, but it'll help us reinforce these positions, okay? Anything is unclear or if you start hurting, please say something because we're learning as a group. You're gonna bring the weights to the center here, right? And we wanna make this a very small movement, all right? So as you're starting to bring the weights up to just about your bust line, can you feel the abs engaging? And then as you press that down, can you feel those shoulder blades retracting? Okay, so Tony, stick your chest out there. I know, yeah, like really proud of the girls. And then as you're pressing that weight in there, feel the abdominals drawn up, almost like you've got a one-piece jumper. And you're gonna bring that zipper up and then you push down with a little force into your wrists and a little glide of your shoulder blades. Good, a little bit more. Here we go. It can be very small because our bodies are our bodies. We're not comparing ourselves to anyone. We're listening to what we feel. Good, and then press that down. So just kind of reinforcing that small range of motion. There should always be an active set of muscles and a stabilizing set of muscles. Are you already feeling those 2-pound weights? I sure am.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Good. And then bring it up. Hope she'll get back here in a second. Good. Now, the next position is called strong man. I call it strong woman. Right away, you know, it's hard. Now, yeah, I want you to go a little bit lower with that, Tony. And bring your hands slightly in front of your shoulder blades. So you're not tempted to be in your neck. Okay. Now we're going to squeeze into the bicep and then release. And this is what's known as concentric or contracted muscles and eccentric or lengthened muscles. And if Tony, if 2 or 3 of these feels good enough for you and that starts to annoy anything, please, that's where I want you to be, my friend. And you could do it without weights, right? Just to get the motion in your body. How's that feeling for you, Karen?
Fine, yeah.
Good. Now from here, take your arms here, and now we're going to be working on the rhomboids. The rhomboids are right here, kind of in between your upper shoulder blades, and their job is to protract and help you retract the shoulder blades. So we bring the hands up in here, and we're just going to move the elbows together and then open them out. Can you feel the way that works with your chest muscles, right? Yeah. And as you're opening, are you engaging your abs? So there's this chorus, there she is.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. We're so glad you're back. We're working a little bit through the sculpting series here. You're doing great. Now we'll work just a little bit in the sense of our lats, which are big muscles down in here. And we're going to go very small. We want Tony to be able to feel this pretty well. Just kind of glide it down. There it is. It's almost like you're taking a V wing, like a flock of geese across the sky. And you're learning how to draw those strong muscles away. Yeah. And in this way, the sculpting series kind of sets us up for really good work through the shoulders. Okay. All right. The next one is going to be boxing. So for boxing, especially for Kathy, we're going to make sure we like do it in hip hinge. But let me turn to the side and show you what it isn't, because I will always tell you all my cheat points. I got plenty of them, right? If I start to bend my knee and I think I'm going to sit back, look how I just did that with my pelvis. Can you see that? That was the movement I got here. That is not safe for osteoporosis, and it isn't working my butt. So I really want to go here in a soft knee, and then I'm going to pull the abs in before I sit back. Can you see the difference in that?
Yeah.
That's all butt muscle. That's what I want it to be. So really reinforcing that. Yeah. So hinging, your hips are here where the leg bone attaches to the acetabulum. Your pelvis is here. We don't want to move for the pelvis. Okay. Now from this position, hugging those abs in, because I'll cheat again if you let me. We're going to reach the right arm forward and the left arm back, pull it back to center and stretch. Right, and so you're just extending the arm bone from biceps and triceps, but you're also trying to coordinate this with your core muscles. So Tony, turn your fist down, honey. So it's more like reach here.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's gonna be a little softer in your neck. Yes. And Karen, I like how you're bringing that forward without rounding. Good. Kathy, you know this pretty well. And I really like how you're keeping those core muscles engaged, right? So suddenly, again, those 2 pounds starts to feel like something, right? All right, from here, this is called, I'm just going to, you all are old enough to remember those John DeLorean cars when they had those wings. Okay, so here it is. It's a great chest opener, and it's back into those rhomboids again. We're hip hinging, and we're just going to lead the elbows up. So Tony, try to connect the elbows to your bra hook. So that is your widening. Yes, you feel the release at your neck muscles there. So
Yes, absolutely.
down the scapula. Yes, good. Karen, keep your chest a little wider. Draw your chin in a little bit more. Yes, ma'am. Good. There it is. How about your butt? You feeling that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not, if you're not, then that means you probably went in your pelvis. So widen your sit bones. Pull them back. There you go. Oh my gosh, ridiculous. All right,
Wow.
now we can do triceps, we can do any number of things, but I just want to use that as a way to kind of reinforce this postural support. Questions on that?
No?
Okay,
Good.
all right, let's put those weights aside. For our mat work coming down, I'd love you to have some kind of a resistance band. If you have a foam roller and a small ball, that would be lovely. If you don't, we will modify. Okay, now, can everybody see well? And also, if you need something behind your head, unless we're doing bridging, I welcome a block or a blanket, anything that you might need to give yourself a little bit of love. I'm gonna grab one. Okay, so I know that this may be at times a little bit slower paced than Teresa does, and I'll pick it up at some point. But I also hope you all realize that as experienced movers, that the better you get at this, sometimes the slower you go, the deeper your work. Okay, so I hope you don't feel like this is going to be too out of your range. So I'm going to go ahead and press. Can you see me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I've just placed a block under my head because that gives me a little bit of neutral spine in my cervical spine. Now I have to find neutral spine in the supine position. So I want my feet to line up with my sit bones, and I want to feel that there's a little space under my low back. Well, we've already talked about my tendency to have that pelvis tilt. I don't want to fix it by slamming and pushing my back down. What I want to do is create what I call a shrink wrapping effect, where I'm drawing the pelvic floor up to the navel and I'm drawing the obliques in from the two sides. Let's try that now. Just kind of bringing your hands either around your pelvis or on top of your pelvis. We'll take an inhale through the nose. And as we exhale, can we feel like you're just really reinforcing those spinal supports there? But yet there's still a little space under your low back. Inhale. And as you exhale, feel that you're drawing that in and creating less of an opening in the low back, but never pushing down. It always should be about engaging, drawing in, and then releasing. Okay, now let's see if we can stabilize that while we add some heel glides. I want to make sure if I'm moving my right foot that my left foot is stable and doesn't let my pelvis shift. You can take your hands right on the belly there to help you check in if you lose that control. Let's go ahead and inhale and slide the right leg out on the floor. As you exhale, can you pull those deep low abs back in to bring the leg back in? So what it should feel like is you're getting length as you send it out, and almost like you're pulling your vacuum cleaner cord in as you retract that leg. Inhale for the length. Now start to feel your butt muscles and how they contribute to the partnership here rather than the hip flexor on the front. This time, let's send it out on the inhale and rotating that femur bone out, glide it back on the exhale. Wow, that was really hard to keep my pelvis down. I bet you felt that too.
Yeah.
Inhale as you glide the leg out, just let that leg bone rotate in the hip socket, while keeping those abs and glutes on the other side aware. Good, now let's reverse that. We'll start with that external rotation, glide it out and back in. Karen, does that bother your hip at all?
Yeah, yes, it bothers me, all right, yes.
It bothers the right hip. Does the rotation or just the slide?
Yeah, it's the rotation.
Got it.
I had an injection in January, so I'm getting toward the end of that injection.
Got it. So just
I'm
leave
starting to feel that joint.
Okay, and does it feel that when you go out straight or just rotation?
It's a little bit going straight, but I really feel it on the rotation.
So leave out the rotation and we'll just go now into the left side, okay? Okay, so speak up, girls. All right, so here we go. We're gonna stabilize through that right side. Inhale, we'll glide that left leg out. Exhale, hug from the belly as you bring that back in. Inhale for the length while I'm pressing strongly down onto that right foot for stability. Good, one more time. Feel the length, get your stability, and exhale, get those deep, low abs to commit. Now add the rotation unless that doesn't suit your body. Inhale, glide, circle out, and come back without pulling your pelvis off the steady base. Inhale and exhale. Now let's reverse that. Turn it out, slide, and exhale back in. Just one more like that. And release. Whew, okay. I like to do after that a little bit of kind of pass a little clamshell here and hope that feels okay, Karen. All right, now from here, let's go into some of our abdominal work. We're going to start with hundreds. And I'd like all of us to keep our heads down here, even though Kathy's the only one who has to, because really, there's not a whole lot of reason to do that because it invites neck tension, Tony. So I'm not going to encourage you to do that. So
Well, based on my thing with Teresa yesterday, I need to keep my head down too.
Yeah, I agree. But let's think about what that means to keep your head down. We want to feel like your upper shoulder muscles are actually in contact, right? And take your index finger and your middle finger. You're going to walk down between your bust line, and right below that, you'll feel this little divot point, a flat little bone that's called your xiphoid process, okay? So take a breath there, and as you exhale, can you feel like you're gently pressing that xiphoid process down into the mat? That's what we call in our teacher training the T point, and it makes sense if you think about your spine being across here and down here. When you have that connection, you're likely not over relying on neck muscles, and you've got a lot of stability there, okay? So for hundreds, Joe Pilates was asthmatic, so he created it to really bring more breath into his movement and improve his circulation. In classical Pilates, it's the first exercise you do. We're going to start, I like to think about 10 long breaths, right? So instead of like a panting dog, we'll inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the exhale, draw your deep, low abs in, okay? So it's like that rather than, all right, we can start out with our feet down, then we'll bring our legs to tabletop. Then if it's available, we'll send them up, and then we'll go down as you can progress or not. So take your arms here, plug those shoulders in, pumping the arms vigorously. We inhale and exhale, deep low abs. Good, imagine that you've got a strong tennis ball that you've got to pump there. And exhale there. I'm going to bring my legs to tabletop, holding those deep core muscles in, and exhale. We go into 40 now. Inhale. Strong straight arms. Exhale. Good. Wrap those abs in support. Inhale again and exhale. Stay there if you'd like, or extend the legs towards the sky. Working up here for 60. And exhale, looks good. Squeeze those heels together. Make sure you're in that neutral spine. Just 2 more sets, my friends. Inhale and exhale, blow it out. Good. Last set, here we are. Inhale and exhale, exhale, exhale. Do you feel your triceps?
What's that?
Do you feel your triceps?
Yes,
Good.
yes,
Does it feel your belly?
yes,
Good. Is your back okay?
yes.
Great. Okay. If anybody said no, it's okay. You don't fail the course or anything. I just want to check in with you. Okay. All right. Great job. Now let's use this as a segue to get into some of the series of 5 or the stomach 5 exercises. I really love the bone strong work for this because I think it's better for everybody, frankly, and that means the head is staying down and we're going with smaller range of motion. So let's go to single leg stretch next. We're going to bring the legs in tabletop, check your neutral spine, not too much arch, not too much compression. We want to take our hands against the right thigh. Now, Tony, use that as a tool to get your shoulder blades down, maybe moving your hands down the leg a little bit to accomplish that. We never want to come closer than a 90-degree angle. Inhale. As you exhale, push out with that left heel extending through the hamstring. Inhale, bring it back, switch the hand to the other side. Exhale as you press that out. That's gorgeous, Tony, coming back in. So it's not about just straightening your leg. It's about trying to create this hamstring connection while you're resisting with your abs. Let's pick up the pace. Exhale, push out, inhale. Exhale, extend as low as it works for you. Good, come back. Exhale, press it out. You're doing such good work, my friends. Keep those shoulders grounded. Keep those abs engaged. I lose count all the time, so I'm going to just say it's one more set here. Inhale, exhale, reach out. Inhale, exhale. Are you dying yet? Totally, right? Exactly. So I like sound effects, right? They're really free. It's an extra resource that I just throw in. But if you're feeling a moaning and groaning, that's a good thing, because Pilates is hard. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. Okay. So let's go to double leg stretch. All right, so it's sort of like hundreds, but you're going to do one kind of pounding movement as if you're pushing that down. Let's start first with the arms, legs and tabletop. We'll bring the arms up, inhale, we're keeping those shoulders grounded, and exhale, tighten the belly as you hover your arms off the floor. Inhale, bring it up. See if you can drop that xiphoid process as you press down. Great job. One more, setting ourselves up for success here. Now, keep your arms there as you inhale and stretch the legs to the sky. Exhale, draw the belly in to bring the legs back in. Inhale, stamp the heels to the sky with energy, not just straightening the legs, and pull back down. So Kathy, go a little deeper for me, honey. Push your heels up there, inhale, and then exhale, or that one knee is bothering you, I guess that makes sense. Okay, now both together if you can. Inhale, but keep that xiphoid process down. Exhale, hug it in. It's precise. Inhale, reach up, exhale, drive it in without losing your shoulders or your core. Two more for me. Inhale, exhale, drive it back. Last one. Reach up there and release. Woo. Just roll your head side to side. Let your legs flop out a little bit. How's everybody feeling? Okay?
Good.
Okay. Now, do you have a foam roller?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, let's grab that foam roller, because after a couple of exercises, let's make sure that, Kathy, do you have one?
I don't.
Okay, got it. So let's do this, my friend. Do you have a ball?
A little one,
Yeah, that'll work. You're just gonna put that on along your spine. My other friends here, we're gonna use the foam roller, okay? Because knowing that we have a little bit of shoulder tension, let's take every couple of exercises to just make sure we're releasing tension and starting to feel some release of the tight points. Kathy, you can place that ball kind of right up there at your bra hook and just holding your head up with your hands. So your feet are parallel. You're just going to gently lift your hips up and roll across your upper back, up and down a little bit. And maybe taking your elbows a little wider, Tony, just to make sure, again, we don't invite tension where we don't have to. Kathy, are you getting enough there?
Oh, a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? You start to feel a little cracking going on here. This is the kind of stuff I do in the deep stretch Pilates work. And I'm just finding that almost every class and every private, I do a little bit of this kind of reset and understanding what's happening in your body. All right, now, see, this is what I call a sundial. So go ahead and bring your hips down here for me. And you'll kind of improvise a little bit on this, Kathy. All right, so see if you can bring your right elbow over. Kathy, you could probably hit it on the floor. Karen and Tony, you're just going to anchor it in there. And then with your left side, drape over the opposite direction. Do you feel that almost like a Band-Aid rips off the front of the pecs right there? All right, now bring your left elbow to the side of the foam roller. Anchor it there. And then drape your right side over. So it's a really little, almost like you're cracking your wing there. And it opens up even further tightness, I find. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, let's just come off of that and we'll just use that as a little bit of support structure. I'm going to suggest that you all keep your foam roller out there. And Kathy, that you use the ball for resistance. So we're going to come into leg circles next. Now, if you prefer to have a band for your legs, Karen, it may feel better to you rather than the rotation to just do a lower like this.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to have your left ankle on that foam roller, and either with a band or just your leg by itself. Maybe let's all get to a band. That's probably a good idea. Kind of wrap that around there like a little package. Now, why do we have the foam roller or the ball? It makes it more challenging to balance, and you're more likely to stimulate the leg bones at the same time. So before you extend that, let's just go ahead and push the ball of the foot through the band. Imagine that you're stepping on the accelerator here, and you're just trying to spread the toes, noticing where you tend to push when you walk. Almost all of us have kind of faulty gait patterns, and you really want to feel the whole of your foot striking from heel to ball and then ball to heel. Then do a little inversion where you're turning the sole of the foot to the center without using your knee. And then evert as you take the sole of the foot out. Now start to circle all the way around with the ankle. Leave everything else out of it. And you probably realize, oh yeah, I'm not fully engaging that most of the time. So that's why we practice it. And then reversing that. Wow, that outward side is really hard for me. So clearly I've got some flexibility issues there. All right, now, when you get this out here, Kathy, this will be especially important for you because of what's going on with the knee. You want to find your hamstring. It's a two-joint muscle that comes behind the knee and behind the hip, but it's easy to camouflage that by pressing your leg out from a more superficial muscle here called the gastrocnemius. So let's slowly try to find our hamstring. We're going to press the heel out, extending slowly. And as soon as you feel that knee want to take over, you pause. You press more through the heel, getting more and more dorsiflexion. Wow, suddenly I'm being lit up there on the back end like crazy, and my leg isn't even straight yet. Let's try that again. Bend the knee in. Go ahead and press out through the heel, slowly, deliberately trying to involve the deeper layer of calf muscles there. All right, now if your leg is not fully straight, don't worry about it. Kathy, it may feel better, and Karen, you too, to just lower this leg rather than to circle. I'll leave that up to you. We're going to do 8 in each direction. So, or you will just do 16 straight up, straight down. Keep that left hip involved. Inhale at the top. And as you exhale, tighten your abs and bring the leg down and around for your point of control. Start slowly, mindfully, making sure you've got all kinds of pelvic stability and that you're still not locking behind the knee. You're really working that control. And now we pick up the pace. Exhale, down around. Pause at the top. Never let momentum take over. Ha, breath. Guide your work in the core. And 2, I think. Back up, inhale, exhale. Now, as you move away from the center, it gets harder. So maybe that circle's not very big. That would be okay. Inhale. Slow and steady. Are you pressing down into that left hip? Oh, I love using the band for this because you can really lengthen out through the leg, create resistance, decompression, everything we want in Pilates. Let's call it 2 more. And then last one, reach out. Woo, definitely feeling that. How's that for you, friends? Okay, Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, Karen, I hope that was okay for you. Not too much rotation.
It is. I've been able to do that exercise without any problem. I think where I really run into problems is when I'm actually putting weight on that hip.
Got it. So in this case, that felt okay.
It did.
Great. And because I was hopeful that it might actually kind of lubricate that pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's take that same sequence on the other side. All right, so we're just going to bring that left foot in there. And our goal first is just to gain a little bit of flexibility as you push in using the band. I find every time I do this that it reduces stiffness and the tendency to get a little arthritic there. I'm also aware of how much I supinate. I turn on the outside of my foot. So it's just a chance to go back and get a little better alignment. Now let's turn the sole of the foot to the center. That's generally where we have more flexibility. And then turn away. Wow, I almost have very little range there. So clearly I need practice. Now I'm going to circle that around. Try to trace a circle pattern on the ceiling with your toes and feel like you're getting that whole ankle nice and supple. Reversing, of course, which is very hard for me. So I'm going to slow it down in that area. Good. All right. So from here, let's find that hamstring again. Anchor through the left hip. It's not about bringing your leg up towards your chest. Go ahead and slowly, mindfully press out through the heel. As soon as you start to feel that knee take over, pause. Back it up a little bit and press through the heel, drawing energy from your underwear line, which may be the only time I've said that this week. All right. And then try it again. Bend the knee in and then press it out. Harder for me to find this hamstring on this side. Now with that opposite leg, you're grounding, you're feeling that leg bone pressing in. Here we go with our leg circles, or straight down if you need to, Karen. Inhale, exhale, down around, under your control. So your femur bone is the longest bone in your body. It attaches to this really nice little groove place there called the acetabulum. And our bodies need to stir it. It's called synovial fluid. It lines the joints and the bones. As we get older, the volume of that decreases. So this is a chance to really stimulate that. While we sleep, we also start to let that suck up into the joints and the bones. That's why we feel stiff in the morning. Now reverse that. Inhale, exhale, tight abs, pick up the pace. Good. Find those abs and ha breath. Down around you go. Looks good, my friends. Keep that neutral spine. Go as mindfully and deliberately as you can, even if you're picking up that pace. Good job. How about your shoulders? Oh, I haven't asked about those in a minute. Yep. Are they still down? Is that xiphoid process down? I felt mine starting to get a little loose. And release. Whew. Patting those bad girls. All righty. Let's go ahead and roll over to the side. Bring ourselves up. Now, if you need anything, I've got a thick mat, but if you feel tenderness on your knees, by all means, bring something up for yourself. Kathy, since you don't have a foam roller, let's just roll up your mat a couple of times and we'll use that for just a little bit of stimulation there. My other friends who have the foam roller, let's just use it. It'll be a nice little protector for the wrists, and it'll also make our balance working a little bit more. So make a tabletop position. Now, remember where we were talking about the ball and socket joints. So sorry, come back just a second. Let me talk to you about this. Karen, one of the reasons that shoulder hurts so much, unlike the hip bone coming in here, your arm bone is the most mobile part of your body, but it has a round arm bone, the humerus, that fits into this very flat, almost like a saucer plate. So imagine that you're trying to put a ball into a flat grid. It doesn't really stabilize. That's why it's hard, and that's why our muscles are so stinking hard to work there. So I like to set you up here in terms of the shoulder mechanics. Soften your elbows a little bit. And then imagine that you are opening a jar. Your arm bone is the jar, and you're trying to plug it in to your shoulder blades. Therefore, that little flat surface is not all that has to help you hold that up. Does that make sense? Now you should feel some broadening across your upper back. So stabilize that as you stretch your right leg back, giving yourself a nice calf stretch. If you start to feel winging in your shoulders or collapsing up there, that's when you sort of inflate your breastbone. Good. Now check and see what's going on with that left hip. Is it sagging or is it stable? Maybe some in the middle. Okay, let's take it back. Come to the other side. Plug those arm bones in, make your back body super strong, and then send the left leg back. Yeah, firm up that right hip. Mine started to sag. I'm gonna open up through the shoulder blades. Great form there, Kathy, right? And then come back. Now, as we're trying to take this to a fuller plank, many women tend to wing there. And so our Japanese bridge, which I know Teresa has talked to you about, it's a more stable surface when you're rounder in the upper back. And that's where you just plug those arm bones in. Everybody okay with that? Stretch right foot back, please. Feel the stabilization. Your abs are in. Absolutely good modification there, Tony. And then see if you can lift that left leg back too. Press fully into your arm, Tony. That's it, not just that elbow. Now inflate your upper back a little, Karen. Pull your abs in. We could be here for like 22 minutes, right? Not really, but yes, keep the neck long. You're doing such great work. And then lower down. Planking is one of the best things you can do for your body. So now let's see on the side, okay? Side planking is even better than front planking. Let's see how to do that. Come on to the side of your mat. And let's start out, first of all, with your upper body along the back edge of the mat and banana pose from your hips to bring the legs forward. Remember that your pelvis is at your natural waist, your hips are below. So I don't want my pelvis to shift there. I want to feel that leg bone. Can you feel that? Okay, bring that forward. Now, with that right arm, press it down and take your left arm to sort of fit that arm bone back into the shoulder blade. Feel how much better that is because it's plugged into a broader surface than that flat little bone called the what is it called? It's called the humeral head. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's something. Okay, now from here, reach under with your left hand. Okay, and then go ahead and just sort of sag your waist down. Feels lousy, right? What if you draw that up? See how that plugs your shoulder in and it gets your obliques to fire, okay? Sag it down again and then engage it to pull it up. So that has to happen with my plank. Now, let's see if we can take the top leg, top arm. Are you still feeling that arm bone into the shoulder blade, not into your neck? You're lengthening through the glutes. You're pressing down on that bottom foot. And we're just thinking about it. Happy Tuesday here as I'm really bringing a lot of core stabilization into my body. How can I make that a little harder? Let's take the top foot and press it down. Now we've got the IT band coming across here, the glute medius. And I could just keep this top hand and work it like a little kickstand, right? So I could just lift up a little bit here, plugging the arm in, bringing that up. That's partly what I could work on. Or I could take it a little bit out as I take my arm straight out. Now you've lengthened that lever. It's a little harder. So Tony, externally rotate your arm bone. Yes, and you might just hold it there, my friends, really feeling that your chest is open. Yeah, that might be plenty for you. Kathy and Karen, do what you can do. See if you can press into that top foot, into the hand, and lift up into a side plank. Great job. Yes, Tony, good job of stabilizing that. Breathe there, my friends. Feel every force of contact and then come down. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. Woo! How we doing, okay?
Good.
Yeah,
Okay,
good.
let's try the other side. Because if you get this right, you could do one of these every day and like you've done more for your abs than most people will do in a year. Okay, line up your body along the back of the mat and bring your legs forward into a little bit of a hinge. Good. Again, that process of opening your shoulder, pressing the arm into it. And even that just feels like the best thing you've done all day, just to create this opening and stability there, right? We just don't feel it through the day. Take the top hand, reach around that rib cage and hug your abs up. Feel how much work it takes to create that alignment all the way across your spine and your leg bones. Then see if you can reach up with the top leg, the top arm, and still feeling that beautiful control from the shoulders. I don't know about you, but it feels amazing. And I woke up a little tight today. Let's draw it down and try it again. Bring it up. Feel the length. So much good right here. We can do nothing else, my friends, and we'd be happy. Right? We could try a few more things. We're not done with this. Take that right foot forward, press it down. Remember your options here. Just to get that shoulder stability, to press in the IT band may be just wonderful for you. You can press up a little bit here. That's not feeling lovely. It's not my favorite place. I really prefer to have my arms straight, but if that feels good to you, do it. Or take that left leg straight, left arm straight out, plug the arm bone into the scapula. Good, press into the foot and feel that lift the side like you're a sail on the lake. Good job. And then release. Hoo-ha, right?
Wow. Yep.
Is that pretty good there? Are you starting to feel okay there, Karen? I mean, Tony?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
I
Let's go
can
back
definitely
to the
tell.
first side and just add a little bit of leg work here. Now, if that doesn't feel good to perch up there, by all means, go down on your side. But now that you understand that mechanically, it actually might be a really good assister for you. Top arm can be like a kickstand. Let's really work, though, even we're focusing on legs, let's work on those shoulders because we all need it. Let's lift that top leg up to the height of the hip. Remember that leg bone is our mover, not the pelvis. So as I kick forward, I want to make sure that leg doesn't drop. Watch me here if you can. If I go super far forward, which I can do you see how my pelvis collapses?
Yeah.
Not good, right? So we want to keep it at that crease line. Yes, good. And then draw back, point your toe. In this way, we flex the foot coming forward. We feel the hamstring. You point back, you feel the quadricep. And we go again, inhale. Yes, no movement of your pelvis. How about those waist muscles? They're dying. It's so strong. Good job. Beautiful form. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders long. Let's do two more. Kick, kick, and point back. Last one. Kick, kick, and point back. Good. And then one more here, just to feel that lovely long line.
You got it back. Okay.
Yeah. And release. Good. Other side.
Nice.
All right. Bring the legs forward. Check into your shoulders. Palm open, forearm down. There's just this really beautiful energy, diagonal line that looks good, Karen. Maybe bringing your feet a little bit forward or your hips a little bit more forward to the front of the mat, my friend. So you're straight on. Could you bring your legs a little forward?
I am.
I got it. Maybe it's just my vision of it. Okay.
Yeah, I
good.
think that's what it is.
Okay, so find your kickstand. Bring your leg up to the height of the hip. The foot is turning inward, and you're going to kick forward. Inhale to your point of control. Exhale, tighten the abs and go back just to the level of the hip. Good. Kick, kick. Beautiful form. I can tell how well Teresa has trained you all. You look like you're right on the Rockette stage. And press back. Good. Kick, kick. Point back. Deep, low abs. How about those shoulders? Making sure we're stable and strong. And two more. Kick, kick. No movement of the pelvis. No momentum. Kick forward and back. And then we just take it up for a yummy stretch all the way through the side body.
Oh, wow.
And release. Great job. Now let's do a little extension. So come onto your bellies, please. And we'll do a little bit of cobra. I love this because it's so good to reverse the curvature of the spine, but how you set this up is super important. Let the legs be slightly turned out. You always want to set this up to create neutral spine in this position. So tops of your thighs press down. Immediately you should feel lengthening in your low back. Then draw the abdominals up. Have your fingertips kind of line up by your chin, looking down to the floor. Now, as you go, thighs down, belly up, imagine that you're following a trail of ants across the floor. So your head is just kind of following that suddenly start to feel your shoulders open, but you're not really interested in very fast or very far. And then slowly follow those trail of ants down because they cannot make their mind up about where they're going. All right, now if you're like most people, you have a favorite place to hinge from. Mine's in my lumbar spine. I do not have much flexibility in my upper spine. So I want to encourage you to go back each time and make sure that you're very neutral and that you're really focusing more on length than how high you come. Yeah, good. So let me watch you a couple of times. Good, same thing, just that slow, steady work. Good, Karen, a little less head. Tony, I really love how you broaden your chest there. It's easy to pop up the turtle head, I call it. You really want to think about the crown of your head length, much better, Karen. Crown of your head lengthening. Yes. Feel how much better that is. It's more subtle. Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to hurt, my friends. There's so much deeper work to do if you're focusing on the correct form. Good, now press yourselves up onto your hands and knees. Let's come into that dolphin position that Tony was showing. We'll interlace our hands here. We're gonna really feel that there's a nice distribution. You're made to fit yourself, right? So if you kind of wrap your arms around and then place your hands there, it's actually where your shoulders are meant to support you. Now press into the whole of your arm, not just your elbow. Allow your head to just drop between your arms, and you're going to curl your toes under here. Coming into a little bit of a down dog position that's safe for all spines. Press into your arms, pull the abs in, and press your sit bones back. You'll get this amazing stretch into your hamstring. Remember, your sit bones are what we're trying to lengthen. We're not trying to do it with our backs. We're stretching through the hips, through the heels. Looks great. And then draw back in. Kathy, I love the angle of those hips. That was super. So it's so good. Let's do it again. All right. So press the forearms down, measure yourself, curl the toes under, pull the belly up and in, hinge your hips back, stretch, letting that head just gently drape down. Breathe in here. So good for all that we've been working on with our shoulders. And then bring the knees down. Let's come in for just a full range of motion as we start to seal our practice. So if you've got a block, I really recommend using that between your inner thighs to give you some nice connection to your core. I'm going to turn to the side to show you what I don't want you to do, right? You don't want to arch back into the lumbar spine. You don't want to kind of lead your head back in here. It's like you're bringing an ironing board back and forth. So remember what we talked about in terms of our neutral spine. One hand on the small of the back, one hand on the belly. I'm going to squeeze the block between my inner thighs, and I'm just going to hinge back as much as that's safe for me. Good job. Tighten the abs and bring it back. It's a fantastic stretch of the hips, a reinforcement of the core. Butt forward, belly in. Good. Hinging back, try not to let your upper body lead. It's one long piece. That looks great. Now, if it feels okay to you, slide your hands down to your underwear line. Check your progress here. Still squeezing the block. Pull the abs up and in. Hinge back. Woo! And bring it back. Great job. Facing me, let's just go ahead and take the right arm up. Find your neutral spine. Just a lovely little side bend, like a willow tree. Just very oversaturated from the rain. Yeah, and then press that right arm up and lay it down. Hug those abs in again. Left arm up. Take a little stretch. Push the hands away. Good, interlace your hands back here. Just kind of stretch the chest. Open up. Good. That time went so quickly today. I hope that felt good.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Slower, but
Holly, that was great.
mechanics will work for you. I've taped this class today because I'm going to use it to help some of our apprentice teachers, and I'll put it on a private channel. So if you'd like a copy of that for just an extra class during the week, I'll be happy to share that with you.
Okay.
It might just be helpful to reinforce, like, oh, I forgot what she said about the shoulders. Or blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Holly.
Thank you
Care.
so
Thanks.
much.
Bye.
Nice seeing you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tony. Bye,
It was
Kathy.
great. to
Bye-bye,
see you.
guys. See you later.
Yeah.